Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Why do kind people keep ending up with narcissists? I mean, think about it for a second. You meet someone new, different face, different personality, different story, and somehow a few months later, you're in the exact same emotional movie again. Same confusion, same imbalance, same feeling of walking on eggshells. Same feeling that you're giving and giving and giving, and somehow you're the one carrying the relationship. And the question starts running through your head, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I attract these people? Is something wrong with me? Look, people usually jump to one of two explanations. Either they say, I must be bad at picking people, or they say, I guess I just attract narcissists. But honestly, both of those explanations miss the real point. Because what's usually happening is something much simpler. You're kind. And kindness without boundaries is like blood in the water. Now, before you panic and think I'm going to tell you to become cold or guarded or cynical, relax. That's not the solution. In fact, becoming cold is usually just another trauma response. It's not healing. Healing is something else entirely. Healing is staying warm but becoming clear. Think about this for a second. A lot of kind people were raised with a very specific emotional training. They were taught things like, be understanding, be patient, give people a chance, don't be selfish. So when you enter relationships, you come in with the mindset of, I'll be the good one, I'll be the reasonable one, I'll be the one who understands. And narcissistic personalities absolutely love that because they're not looking for a partner. They're looking for someone who will adjust around them, someone who will overfunction emotionally, someone who will carry the weight, someone who will tolerate confusion while trying to make it work. Now, here's the part that most people don't realize. Kind people often walk into relationships auditioning. You don't even realize you're doing it. You meet someone and your brain starts asking questions like, how can I make this work? How can I show them I'm loyal? How can I prove I'm safe? How can I show them I care? But let me tell you something. When you start relationships from that position, you're already giving away the power of observation. And observation is what protects you. Instead of auditioning, you have to learn how to observe. Sit back, watch. Ask yourself simple questions. Do they show up consistently? Do they take responsibility when they mess up? Do they care about how their behavior affects people? Or do they charm, take, disappear, and then come back like nothing happened? That shift alone changes everything. You stop chasing connection, you start evaluating connection. Now let me pause for a second. If this is already hitting you a little too close to home, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who keeps ending up in these same kinds of relationships. Because a lot of people think this is just their fate, and it's not. All right, let's go deeper, because there's another pattern that gets kind people into trouble. Over-explaining. Kind people love explaining. They want to be understood. They want to be fair. They want to clarify things. So when conflict shows up, they talk more, explain more, justify more, try to smooth things out. But narcissistic personalities often use that as fuel because the more you explain, the more they twist the conversation. The more you defend yourself, the more they accuse. And eventually you're exhausted trying to explain every basic respect. At some point, you realize something. Someone who is committed to misunderstanding you is not confused. They're controlling the dynamic. So the shift becomes very simple. Instead of speeches, you start saying things like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I'm not okay with that. I'm not doing this. And then you stop talking. That silence feels very uncomfortable for kind people, but it's powerful. Now, here's another big one. Kind people often reward bad behavior with more love. Someone pulls away, you lean in harder. Someone gives crumbs, you become grateful. Someone hurts you, you become more loyal. Why? Because you believe love will fix it. But narcissistic personalities don't experience love as a gift. They experience it as leverage. They think they'll stay no matter what. That's when the dynamic gets dangerous. So the moment you catch yourself doing that, pause and ask yourself a very simple question. If my friend told me this exact story, what would I tell them to do? Your answer will usually be very obvious. But when it's happening to you, your kindness clouds the signal. Now, here's another uncomfortable truth. Kind people hate disappointing others. They would rather suffer quietly than be the bad guy. Narcissistic personalities know that. So they push, they guilt, they pressure, and you fold. Healing is learning to tolerate someone being unhappy with you, not because you're cruel, but because you're no longer available for manipulation. Sometimes the healthiest sentence in the world is simply, I understand you feel that way, and then nothing. No fixing, no chasing, no explaining, just calm. Another big shift happens when you stop confusing intensity with intimacy. Narcissistic relationships feel intense. Fast closeness, big emotions, high highs, low lows, drama. And kind people interpret that intensity as depth. But real intimacy doesn't feel like chaos. Real intimacy feels steady, safe, consistent. Someone you can relax around. If you feel addicted, if you feel anxious, if you feel like you're constantly trying to earn someone's warmth, that's not intimacy. That's nervous system chaos. And once you recognize that difference, everything changes. Another trap kind people fall into is trying to be the exception. You think, maybe I can be the one person they finally treat well. No. If someone has a long pattern of using people, you will not love them out of it. You will not heal them out of it. They will drain you while you try. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to protect your life. And the biggest shift of all, you stop abandoning yourself, because narcissistic personalities are drawn to people who override their own instincts, people who ignore red flags, people who say it's fine when it's not fine, people who feel that tightness in their chest and talk themselves out of it. So the moment you feel that signal, listen to it. Not later, not after 5 more chances, now. Because the truth is this, you don't stop attracting narcissists by becoming colder. You stop attracting them by becoming less available to manipulation. You become someone who doesn't negotiate basic respect, someone who doesn't explain their worth, someone who doesn't stay where love feels like a guessing game. And once that happens, narcissistic personalities lose interest because there's no supply, no endless forgiveness, no emotional labor they can harvest. And you stay kind, but you become very difficult to use. And if you want help untangling these patterns in your own life, because this stuff runs deep, you can always book a one-on-one session with me through the link in my bio, or reach out through pop call, chat, voice, or video. Sometimes just talking through the pattern with someone who understands these dynamics can bring clarity much faster. Because the goal isn't to become cold. The goal is to stay kind and become unavailable to people who feed on kindness.